You like spy movies, Mr. DeVere?
In 2014, Matthew Vaughn's The Kingsman exploded onto the big screen. And exploded. And exploded. The raunchy, gory, darkly drawl take on British spycraft offered 21st century audiences an updated Bond for a crasser generation.
If you save the world, we can do it in the hole.
With a $414 million global haul off an $81 million budget, the film qualified as a smash success.
Which, of course, revved up the content creation machine into studio sequels, a TV franchise, even mobile video games.
So prepare to spruce up from dodgy to dapper as we go deep undercover to discover...
What's the difference? No, sorry, I'm not going to do it. I apologize. Like so many box office success stories, this is a tale of legendary comic heroes teaming up. In 1999, renowned comic writer Mark Millar, creator of Kick-Ass, Wanted, the Old Man Logan series, the Ultimate X-Men, which became the basis for Avengers, Civil War, which became the basis for Civil War, you get the point, had a pitch on a new S.H.I.E.L.D. project for Marvel called Uncle Sam. A young American hoodlum gets taken under Nick Fury's wing to be tutored into a suave super spy in the vein of the old Jim Steranko comics. Marvel rejected it outright, but you can't keep a good idea down or a good writer.
Millar teamed up with comic artist Dave Gibson of Watchmen fame and British director Matthew Vaughn to help him evolve the early concepts of Uncle Sam. But they soon realized their British hearts would prefer to give the story a crack of the cricket bat that they were more familiar with.
And so the title changed from Uncle Sam to The Secret Service. The American hoodlum turned into a British chav, and instead of working for S.H.I.E.L.D., the young hero is indoctrinated into an original spy agency operating under Her Majesty's Foreign and Commonwealth Office.
Which delivers us to the first main difference.
Come with me.
The title and overarching concept of the Kingsman was created for the film. In the comic, there was no roundtable-styled assemblage of secret agents with code names of King Arthur's knights. The agency is a more familiar 007-style institute of espionage.
This is one of the most significant differences between the two, and in our humble opinion, a significant upgrade that made the movie pop. By constructing a mythology to the Kingsmen as an organization and linking it to the spirit of older British mythology, it seeded the vital old-made-new theme that resonates throughout the surprisingly heartfelt film.
Being a gentleman is something one learns.
Yeah, but how?
As Eggsy goes on his Pygmalion journey from public housing roughneck to refined British spy, he gives as good as he gets, in effect updating stained old British spycraft into an edgier 21st century mentality, and elevating the film beyond a mere set-piece extravaganza into a societal commentary on generational exchange.
Manners may maketh the man, but youth culture replenishes mankind, which delivers us tidily to the second main difference. In the comics, the story is weighted primarily towards a spycraft's tale of saving the world from an evil wavelength manipulating mastermind hell-bent on thinning the global population to save humanity from destroying the planet.
However, in the film, far more time is spent tracking Eggsy's growth while he trains with his fellow Kingsman candidates as a sort of X-Men-style Professor Xavier School for Mutants. Except here, the students have no superpowers, getting by only on their wits, physical ability, prowess with weaponry, and good old-fashioned Churchillian stiff upper lip.
You need to take that chip off your shoulder.
A handful of candidates compete to replace the fallen secret agent Lancelot, who quite literally splits from the agency in the opening scene. In both comic and film, Eggsy is the odd man out, hailing from the lower classes compared to their refined boarding school backgrounds.
But in the comics, only a few pages are dedicated to Eggsy actually learning the art of spycraft.
Also, they just call him Gary. Gary.
In our opinion, again, the movie upgrades the comic as the increased emphasis on Eggsy's training gives him time to round out as a more three-dimensional character. He develops a respect-based friendship with Roxy, the sole woman candidate for the post, and learns the value of teamwork over the social prejudices against the upper class that he had harbored in the past.
The specifics of the training differ wildly as well. While both feature a scene in which they practice pickup artistry in a bar, in the film they halo jump from planes, hold their breaths underwater, and train a dog, before being required to shoot that dog for their final test. While he doesn't know that the gun is full of blanks, Eggsy fails to pull the trigger and thus fails the test.
But in the comic, Eggsy is straight up required to shoot drug dealers. Like human ones. He goes out on a two-person mission with fellow student Hugo, and they end up gunning down blokes from Eggsy's old neighborhood. It's really dark, and yet shortly thereafter he's back in the neighborhood romping around as if nothing happened. It's kind of an emotional incongruity that you can get away with in the comics, but not on the big screen, so it's clear why it was removed.
Speaking of removal, after minimal training, Eggsy immediately jumps into shadowing his uncle on spy missions. The comic specifies that he's to spend 3 years learning the finer details of the trade, beginning with him begging in the town square to master the art of persuasion.
But it soon jumps to him watching his uncle practice the art of persuasion as he seeks to seduce the supervillain's girlfriend to pump her for details. Yes, we said pump her for details, and yes, we said uncle.
In the film, Eggsy is the son of a man who saved Agent Galahad's life 17 years ago in the line of duty. Galahad gave Eggsy's mother a medallion to give to Eggsy as a get-out-of-jail-free card. Once Eggsy lands in jail, he dials a number inscribed on the back of the medallion, says a peculiar phrase as instructed, and Bob's your uncle, he's out of the poke and in the steady but deadly hands of Colin Firth.
However, in the comics, Eggsy's rescued from his post-car crash imprisonment by his uncle, who is the secret agent in the family, not his dearly departed father. This leads to a through line in which the mother repeatedly yells at her brother for thinking he's better than her. It turns into a wet blanket subplot, and was replaced with the more elegant, quicker-to-the-action on-ramp scene in the film.
But that's far from the only character switcheroo between the two.
I always felt the old Bond films were only as good as the villain.
In the film, Samuel L. Jackson plays the role of the supervillain Richmond Valentine, a lisping Russell Simmons-looking cell phone mogul who believes Mother Earth is on the verge of a population overload with all of humanity at stake. So he coldly plans to cull the herd. His master plan is to give everybody free cell phone service, then beams out a signal that connects to their SIM card and pulses out wavelengths that trigger violent, murderous rages.
In the comic, the supervillain is James Arnold, a 23-year-old tech billionaire a la Bill Gates and Steve Jobs. While James has a similar plan to trigger murderous rages, he achieves this with normal frequency manipulation instead of a cell phone scheme Matt Vaughn cheekily branded with a Richard Branson-esque Virgin V-style logo. You cheeky.
Additionally, in the comic, Arnold is using his super-secret bunker to protect all of his favorite celebrities, from William Shatner to Pierce Brosnan to Sir Patrick Stewart and Mark Hamill. In fact, the entire comic series begins with henchmen kidnapping Mark Hamill, a British secret agent stealing him back, only to ride off a cliff on a snowmobile and killing them both when his parachute doesn't open.
The film also begins with Mark Hamill getting kidnapped, but he's playing the role of a wonky climate scientist, not himself. When the secret agent shows up to save him, he witnesses our final semi-significant character switch.
In both comic and movie, the head henchman is named Gazelle, but in the comic, this curved metal-legged bodyguard is a black male and former Secret Service member. In the film, he is now a she, and her legs are razor-sharp slicing weapons. She's got legs, and she knows how to use them. Nope, okay, no ZZ Top fans.
Remember the plan to use wavelengths to transform mild-mannered people into raving, murderous psychopaths? Well, in the comic, we see a trial run of that plan on the opening pages of the second of 6 comics in the series. With the flip of a switch, James Arnold turns a tropical wedding of 50 couples into a volcano of bloody violence.
We don't see a trial run in the film until the end of the second act, when Valentine turns a Kentucky church service into a Baptist bloodbath. Roughly speaking, if the arc of the comic series were translated into scripted film structure, the comic's page 15 inciting incident would occur on page 90's plot point 2 when everything goes to biblical hell, including the point-blank death of Kingsman Obi-Wan figure Galahad.
And so we reach the grand climax. In both, Eggsy has to head to the bunker compound to take on the supervillain and his henchmen before the supervillain activates his satellite and turns the world in on itself. And that's about as much as they have in common.
In the comic, Eggsy and his fellow candidates have to gear up and storm James Arnold's facility in a race against time, shooting through James Arnold's defense forces, freeing the celebrities, giving them guns, rewiring his computer code to make people extremely affectionate instead of violent, then plugging him in the head. Mission accomplished.
Bingo bongo. That's a British phrase.
However, in the film, the celebrities in the bunker have been replaced with one-percenters who have made a Faustian bargain with Valentine, party with him at the end of the world, and get to live in a new one. In order to ensure they keep their end of the bargain, Valentine has implanted small explosive devices in their necks, and once our heroes' necks are on the line, Eggsy, Merlin, and company save the day with some heavy artillery daring do, a bit of Oxford's not Brogue's fancy footwork, and puts the lance in Lancelot, separating Valentine's hand from his biometric trigger, just in the nick of time.
Which of course begs the question, how much does 2017's Kingsman the Golden Circle have in common with the 2 comic follow-ups, Kingsman the Big Exit and Kingsman the Red Diamond? Killer robot dogs.
No.
Drug-pushing Leave It to Beaver aesthetic Julian Moore.
No.
Channing Tatum as an American cowboy spy service agent.
Nope.
Jeff Bridges showing up on set apparently as himself.
I'm champagne.
Nope.
Laser lassos?
No. Alright, you get the point. The Big Exit comic was a 6-page spread in Playboy with Eggsy protecting Brexit gold from thieving French mimes. The Red Diamond pits the Kingsman against an Inspector Gadget villain armed with a computer virus.
And the Golden Circle movie had a drug-pushing Julianne Moore making human hamburger meat out of her foes, then feeding it to her lackeys.
Which just goes to show you what franchises are all about, establishing a signature world you can return to time and time again, and again, and again, and again.
Come on.
That clinches the full Windsor knot tie on today's episode.
Yes, and I bet you expect me to subscribe for more What's the Difference?
No, my dear boy. I expect you to die.